Still with last night's stonking edition of Never Mind the Ballots, the Sun's great new programme. You can watch it, by the way, on the Sun's website. I think it's sun.co.uk. Or you can watch it on YouTube, and you can still get it on catch-up on talkTV, of course. Have a look. It's well worth it. And in this interview, conducted by a very fiery Harry Cole, Rishi said that Boris is very welcome to join him on the campaign trail. Let's have a look at Rishi last night on Never Mind the Ballots.
When was the last time you spoke to Boris Johnson on the phone?
I don't know, actually. I spoke to him.
Was he going to join you on the campaign trail?
I spoke to him in person at the end of last year, and we've messaged since then as well.
Is he going to join you on the campaign trail?
Are you
going to share a platform? What about Liz? What about Liz? Are you going to three of you stand there together?
Anyone from the Conservative family who wants to see a Conservative government re-elected and doesn't think Keir Starmer is the right person to lead our country will be welcome on the campaign trail, right? Because ultimately that's the choice.
There you go. Open invitation to Boris to stand with Rishi on the platform. What do you think the chances of that happening are, JJ?
You know what? Actually, I think Boris may do it.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I think he will. If Boris can come in and he's not going to save the party, but he might save them from complete and utter massacre.
Yeah.
It would be good for Harry to let Sunak answer a question before he follows up with another question, though. Is Boris going to join you? Well, I suppose. What about Liz Truss?
Well, you might say that. I couldn't possibly comment. And meanwhile, in the same interview, a very wide-ranging interview, and I've got to say, Harry was on great form. Rishi, I thought, was on very good form. I mean, you realise when you see him in an interview like this, for all his hopelessness and for all his haplessness, he's a nice guy. He's well-intentioned, and he came across very well. But as the analysts after the interview concluded, he didn't really say much. He's a master of PR, media interviews in which he seems very loquacious, but doesn't say very much. But one of the things he did comment on, and I think it's about time, there's this law where the implication is that homeless people will be arrested if they smell. If they smell bad. And he said that's absolutely not true. But in the same law, they want to crack down on nuisance behaviour, and this does apply to homeless people, with fines of up to £2,500. You try fining a homeless person £2,500. What do you think the chances are of that person being able to pay that?
Yeah.
But let's have a look at Rishi last night.
We have a law in this country dating back to the 1800s called the Vagrancy Act, which essentially does criminalise people simply for having nowhere to live. And that's not right.
Yeah.
And what we have said we're going to do is repeal that law. What we are going to do is make sure that the police have the powers they need to tackle behaviour that is intimidating to other people, because I think it is important that people are able to walk around their local communities without fear of being intimidated. So I think it's right the police have the powers to tackle that.
It's funny, these ancient laws. We're going to talk about the new hate laws in Scotland in a little while. I found out last night, I was reading about it, and it replaces Scotland's, I think it was something like 1847 blasphemy law. So these ancient laws, like our ancient vagrancy law, I mean, they do need updating, but not if you're going to arrest homeless people if they reek.
This vagrancy law comes from the Napoleonic Wars. It was to stop soldiers coming back from there being homeless on the streets. That was the original vagrancy law.
Interesting. And yet we've still got that syndrome going on.
Yeah, exactly. We've still got veterans on the streets. Excuse me. However, as you say, fining someone £2,500 who is homeless makes no sense. Throwing someone in prison because they are homeless makes no sense. It doesn't tackle the cause of homelessness. And then to say if someone smells, that is a public nuisance. Well, what if you're not homeless and you just stink? What if that's the case? I walk past people all the time in Hackney who just smell. They're not homeless. They just don't wash.
Well, maybe people could get arrested because the police don't like the smell of their aftershave or something like that.
That could be.
This aroma legislation is kind of worrying, isn't it?